What's up, guys? Day number 11. Today was a pretty good day. I still have been pondering how I'm missing a day. It doesn't make sense. Because I've made a video every single night, but I'm missing a day. So, unless I missed the very first day I was here, I can't figure it out. I can't comprehend it. It's still bugging me. Today's topic is going to be from a question I got. I went on a little run this morning around the ship, and as I was stretching there, the second mate came up to me, and he asked me if I took his jacket. Now, the second mate is like 6'4", and his jacket is huge. The blue jacket, it's like a parka jacket that he personally went out and bought. This thing would go down past my knees if I wore it. No, I did not take his jacket. I was like, no, I have not seen or taken your jacket. And he's like, okay, well, I was just asking you, blah, 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 just making sure. I've been asking everybody and I can't find it. Apparently he asked everybody, and then it just so happened to show up down in the duty mess where we all meet. But, the topic I'm thinking of is basically, I had told him, no, I didn't take your jacket. I bring all my own gear. So the topic is being prepared. For one, hopefully you know where you're going on a ship, and you should look up, the weather conditions for that area and that time of season, because seasons are flip-flopped in certain areas. Weather's different. Winter's winter kind of, I guess, but still, certain areas are hot, certain areas are cold. My very first trip as an OS, I was really, building up all the way from before getting into the program and then getting into the program and coming out. I was going through this phase of making myself somewhat of a minimalist in my eyes. Now, it started at home where I knew I was getting ready to leave and possibly be gone for a year, and so I started getting rid of everything that had no use to me. I got everything down to like 3 big tote boxes of all my personal things that I wanted to keep, not including, I think I had another tote of clothes. But everything I owned, including clothes, were in 4 tote boxes packed up. And then, I went to the program, got out. First phase, second phase, went to third phase. And then for my 4th phase, I really tried to go down to a really minimalist approach. I'd been doing research on traveling minimalists and all this stuff, and lightweight clothing, but still being able to have layers. And I came out literally with one regular backpack, and then it was a military hiking backpack. I want to say maybe, I don't know the size, but 40 milliliter, 40, I don't know how they measure bag sizes, but basically it was 2 feet wide, 3.5 long, and only about 6 inches deep. Now, I packed everything that I thought I would need in this backpack and my regular day backpack. It was 1 pair of running shoes, and my pair of Sanuks. I love Sanuks, and those are my casual everyday shoes for every ordeal. And then I wore my work boots onto the plane and everything. But I definitely made it work for my whole OS trip. Packed everything up, came here literally with just 2 backpacks. And the first place we had gone was this little island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. where the temperature was okay. Actually, first we showed up in South Korea, and it was like really humid and sticky. Well, we had gone to this island in the middle of the Indian Ocean where it was really hot and sticky. I mean, like averaging like 90 degrees a day, but like 110% humidity. You walked outside and were just like sweating. Got to a point where I'd go out at 8 o'clock, and within the first 30 minutes, I mean, I'd be completely drenched in sweat, but I got used to working that way. And I did that for like 2 months in that heat, and then we'd come back to South Korea where we were pulling in and putting out the gangway, and I'm not even kidding. I made my cup of coffee, I stepped out on deck, and then everyone was saying it was cold, whatever, you know. Went up, grabbed a jacket, got my coffee, came out. I took a step out on deck, and the wind chill was so ridiculous. I literally, hot cup of coffee, had just poured it, set it down on the ground, put my jacket on, zipped it up, picked the coffee up, and it was cold. I mean, hot coffee, and within a matter of like 3 minutes going down the stairs and taking a step outside, this coffee was completely cold. And we were in South Korea for another like month until I got off, and in that month we had, I think it was like literally, there's like, with the wind chill, we were in the negatives. It was freezing cold, man. Like, I was wearing like 3 sets of gloves, and remember, I packed minimalist thinking I could just add layers on with the clothes I had. It didn't work. I ended up finding a bunch of used hand-me-down clothes that were in some leftover lockers and using those. And luckily I found those, because I don't know if I would have made it. It was freezing. And it literally, I think it snowed maybe like 3 times. Like, it was so cold, man, the first time I came back here. And it brought to my attention, like, I need to plan in my travel bag to have both winter clothes and summer clothes, because you don't know. You could literally be getting on a ship where you're halfway in a season and the season could be changing. So you need to be prepared. And I even find that now. I come out here and there's other guys here that I notice they're wearing leftover hand-me-down clothes that I seen the guys like 2 trips ago wearing, that they had left in closets. And guys are still now getting to the ship and wearing those old clothes because they came unprepared. And I'm sure that's probably what happened, because towards the end of that trip as an OS, the last week before I left, the captain actually bought everybody, both engine and deck, these like fluffy parkas to work in. And the second mate's parka, he had to specially buy one himself because he's so big, but it looks like almost like the others. And I'm sure somebody seen that, thought it was one of the crew parkas, but you know, it's a little nicer because the second mate don't actually get dirty, and they probably swiped it up thinking I got a almost new parka. But yeah, that's the lesson for today. If you're trying to be a minimalist, I mean, I still pack. I don't want to say, I can't actually say I pack light. I got a big bag. I usually come with one big North Face and a backpack. This trip I came with a big North Face, a duffel, and a backpack. Combined weight of everything, roughly 100 pounds. But I bring both winter and summer because I learned my lesson. Even though I still strive to be somewhat minimalistic in my own view, in my own eyes, I know it's not exactly possible. when you're coming to a ship not knowing the climate. So yeah, that's today's lesson. Today was pretty good. I got to work with Josh. Josh is actually the midnight to noon, and his overtime's 8 to noon. But he switched his overtime from noon to 4 or 1600 because we had a boat drill. This sneaky little fart. He thought he could get away with starting at noon, go until 1. We had a fire and boat drill that lasted till 2, and then we had coffee break at 2:50. So he literally worked like maybe an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes for his 4 hours overtime. I don't think they're gonna let him get away with it again, but that was pretty cool. I'd like to get a video of doing the fire and boat drills one of these days, but it's really nothing that special. For you guys that are following me and subscribing and curious about the program, you guys will get to the program, and the simulations you guys will get to do will be much more fun, much more in-depth than any fire and boat drill you'll do on the ship, most likely. I have had maybe 1 or 2 fire boat drills where the captain really walked us through all the steps, but as soon as the crew kind of knows the steps, things aren't as in-depth. We kind of just go through the motion, make sure we know everything still. And today's drill was simulated, the fire drill was simulated, and electric fire in the galley. So basically, you got 2 different teams, we muster up, both teams suit down, and we'll send some guys to go check the boundary areas of the simulated fire area. So you have the simulated room that has a fire. You're gonna send people to check the top of the room and the sides of the room for heat, because you want to make sure you're not getting any, basically transferred heat to another floor or another room to the side. So that's the first step. Then the second step, you have one team, because there's always at minimum 2 exit points to any room on a ship. There's always at least 2. So we'll have one team go from one side, and the other team will go from the other side, simulate spraying down the boundary, cooling it down. Then you open the doors, you get down low, and you go up, feel the walls, feel the door, open the door after you sprayed it down, spray the area. Realistically though, the galley would have like a CO2 system in it. It actually just got installed after the Coast Guard inspection because they realized it wasn't quite up to code. So a whole new CO2 system on here got put in. So I don't even know why we were simulating a hose team and a CO, because it's an electrical fire. You're not gonna spray water at an electrical fire. That didn't quite make sense to me. But you still have to simulate cooling down the boundaries. Oh, man, I got this gnarly ingrown hair on my knee. Take care of that after the video. But yeah, after the boat drill, me and Josh painted a catwalk, and that was my overtime. That was pretty much it. I don't want to bore you guys too much with some of these working videos that I know I've taken before. Instead, I'm going to bore you with these log entries. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are learning, taking in what I say. Please subscribe, please like, share, comment, do all that usual stuff that I say, alright? I appreciate it, and I'm out.